What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Girls Room. I have Sam and Taylor and a very special guest who requested on his live stream. Justin Penik is our co-host and I guess producer.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here. This has been like a running joke that I guess I've joked about it so many times it's not a joke anymore, but I desperately want to produce this show. Number one, like who I am. I do Talkin Giants, and then I take a lot of pride in also being the editor and producer of Talkin Giants, which there's not a lot of shows. Pax, you're in that life now.
Yep.
There's not a lot of shows in this company that are left over that have their creators/co-hosts that are also producing, editing, et cetera, et cetera. So I take a lot of pride in that. And basically, I've done maybe close to 1,000 podcast episodes, like in my life, and most of them I've edited and I produced, or at least I've done the audio on. So I take a lot of pride in that. But why I want to produce The Girls Room?
Yep. Please.
I respect the three of you so much. I don't know any of you personally, and I don't know any of the stories that you have in terms of your journeys kind of leading up to here per se, but just seeing the progression and the growth that the three of you have had just in the company. Taylor, you came in as a social media person, but now you're like one of the head honchos. Let's say you and Kyle are the two like head honchos of social media. That's how at least I interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That's true.
Paxton, you are one of the first creators that we've had that isn't necessarily tied to a brand or not necessarily tied to a property, let's just say, but you're a creator, and that's so necessary because part of what I want to do today is I want to have a conversation on where Jomboy Media is going.
Yeah.
And I think where Jomboy Media is going is not necessarily being so property tied and show tied, but kind of just being creators together. Mm-hmm. And you were like one of the first persons to lead that effort, I guess, even without you knowing it at the time when you're coming on. And Sam, coming from directing that Bronx office and making sure that Jimmy and Jake were where they were supposed to be, when they were supposed to be, and kind of like your start. And then you basically built this office, and now you're like one of the two heads of content, you and Maddie Mass. So I respect just the overall growth of the three of you in this room. And now you have a show together. And still, hey, I know Jomboy Media is headed to a different direction. I know content just in general is headed towards a different direction and straying away from long-form content, but I still love long-form content. And I still love, podcast shows and stuff like that. So I'm very thankful to be here. And that's why I want to produce The Girls Room. And I don't even want to be on camera.
An application.
Like literally.
That was an insane elevator pitch.
Honestly. He came in like guns blazing, gonna get it off
That
the
was
top.
phenomenal.
We're honored
Thanks,
to have
Penik.
you here. Yes,
Yeah, that was so
thank you.
kind.
So nice. So nice of you to say. We always start every episode off with talking about what we did this past weekend. Yours, unfortunately, was a little not great. But what did you do this weekend, Penik?
This past weekend, we hosted a watch party at Billy's where we had a couple hundred people at Billy's.
Might I say, that is an insanely incredible feat.
Unbelievable.
Selling out 300 tickets in less than a week is unfathomable.
It was like 4 days.
And then
literally.
And then we were able to bump it up like the day of.
Billy's was like, fuck it, sell more.
I
we were able to bump it up.
You guys lost, but that's that should not be lost on you.
People showed up at the door, paid at the door.
Yeah.
Like absolutely.
Maddie Mass was like taking cash like a bouncer. Like a bouncer at the door. That's crazy.
Never forget that.
No, and really the times in content, like the times that I really appreciate and I savor the most is when we do stuff with our community.
Yeah.
It's when we have our tailgates. It's when we have our events, whether it's at like our fan fest every single year, leading up to training camp in the month of August, the Giants do like a fan fest. Anytime that we're able to do something with our community, like even something that like one of my best memories of 2022 is Bobby and we went to Charlotte Motor Speedway the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, and we just said, we're going to record a Talkin Giants podcast. We had like 20 people show up to a NASCAR Friday night truck race the weekend of Memorial Day weekend in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and we had like 20 people show up to that event. And I was like, that's so awesome that, no matter where we go, where we are, when it is, where it is, that people are going to show up and, we're going to be able to, enjoy whatever we're doing together. So that these past 2 weekends, particularly at Mr. Purple, it was 2 weeks ago when we beat the Vikings, that was much more of a fun environment just because the game was better and we won. And you were more packed in that space, even though it was tighter. And I'm sure some people were uncomfortable, but just having that more of a fan atmosphere, all being together, all watching together, and also having so many Jomboy, I think there were like 30, maybe 20, 30 Jomboy Media people there too, which that meant just as much to me too. Having the Jomboy Media employees there. I know we're going to talk about me being a non-baseball creator, and one of the first non-baseball creators, and that was such a huge moment for me to have all those Jomboy Media people there. We were able to celebrate the community that Talkin Giants has, and then also it's the Jomboy Media community too, for sure.
Yeah. So not great weekend, but a great weekend, kind of.
Yeah. Anytime that we're able to do something for our community members is a great time. I don't care what happens with the Giants.
It's a win.
Yeah.
Sam, what about you?
I had a great weekend. I went back to Canada.
Woohoo! Snow.
And yes, I saw snow, which was so great. I went ice skating. I went to a cool spa. I went bowling.
Didn't talk about that.
I didn't do well.
That's okay.
I don't think I was at a place to even use your tips.
I did give you tips.
Yes.
Did you look at the arrows and not the pins?
No. I remember you said something about arrows, but I forgot. But I did use your one. If I'm trying to get a pin on the right, I aim left.
Did it work?
I went right down the middle.
So no.
But I tried
it did not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not even good enough to use those yet.
Okay.
But it was helpful nonetheless. And yeah, then we just hung out, had a good time, watched some hockey. It was really nice. I had a heck of a time getting home, but I did just a day later. But yeah, a really great weekend.
I told Sam this. The picture that she posted, ice skating, quite possibly it was like one of the best pictures I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Like glowing.
So cute.
Just
cute, literally glowing.
Hair looked great, head to toe.
Which then prompted me to go to Sam's Instagram and then scroll through her photos to see
Same!
how photogenic she is. I did this for 30 minutes.
Same. I went down the Sam rabbit hole. And
I
I'm
was just on
why have I never
Sam's
seen
Instagram.
this?
What are you unlocking? What do you unlock when you take a photo?
I don't think I'm guys. Out of anyone, I blink.
She blinks in every photo. That's true. She does blink in every photo.
Makes me unphotogenic.
No, that's not your fault.
No.
It's not. It's my mom's fault.
Perfect.
Oh, let's
hereditary.
unpack that.
It's hereditary.
Yeah, no.
But thank you. That's nice.
Such a cool picture.
Great picture. Taylor, what about you? How was your weekend?
Good. I was at the event. Yeah, which everything you said. I mean, it's also so nice for us to see something so great for you guys.
Yeah.
The rest of us are just as happy as you are.
Yes.
So yeah, that was fun. And then I don't know what I did. What was that? Sunday, my car broke and I fixed it. Which I felt really good about.
Add it to the resume.
Thank you. Yeah, I did nothing on Sunday. I've just been
your first week of living?
Yeah, I've just been trying to figure out where things are. I went and got some last minute stuff. I really like it so far. Yeah, just I don't know where anything is. So I'm gas station. Everything. I'm putting everything in my phone because I just don't know where anything is.
So
but so far so good. All my friends from home are coming up this weekend.
Nice.
It's my roommate's birthday, and so they're all going to see the apartment and hang. So
I loved your question. What's been your first week of living?
Yeah.
That was a fantastic question. Oh, I forgot this detail of my weekend because I wanted to forget it. Did you see my tweets that I was stuck in the Bronx office for the entire night?
I saw this.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So I parked at a parking garage, which that mistake number one, rookie mistakes of going to the Bronx office is you try and find street parking. And find street parking. I had equipment and I had stuff and I was like, let me just park in a parking garage. It says 24/7, 7 days a week. Let's do it. So it's 3 a.m. Episodes out on podcast apps. It's all scheduled on YouTube. All right, I'm going home. I'm going to my bed. Because if they won, it would have been, we would have had to rewatch the game. I would have, taken notes on stats, and we would have been just recording at 2, 3 a.m. Because that's how psychotic we are. So I parked at the parking garage. Walking back, everything is locked. Everything is locked. And there was a good moment where I'm like, I'm gonna get a rock, and I'm gonna get in this parking garage, and I want the cops to come. I need help getting out of here. Are you going to get me out of here?
You know what, cops? Yeah, roll up.
So yeah, please, if an alarm goes off, come here. I need to get out of this garage. Whether you take me out or I drive out, I need to get out. So I went back to the Bronx office, and I even took a few videos of myself just totally delusional, 6:30 a.m. I just watched a video.
To a few people.
Yeah, well, I joined, I feel like a small but elite crew of people that were stuck at the Bronx Bronx office overnight, so I joined the crew.
That's so true.
That was my weekend.
God, that's great. I haven't been to the Bronx office
Don't.
ever.
Well,
Me neither.
I'm so glad. I was about to also have that studio wiped out because we're almost done with that. I'm glad we didn't.
I think it's alright if we do that.
Oh yeah,
If we get it out.
yeah. Oh, we are. I mean,
I'd be all right
our
with it.
lease is up next month, March, but
We had one. Maybe I'll be the last.
You might.
The last
Probably will.
effort.
Unless Joe's goes and randomly
Last episode.
does something there, which is possible.
Pinstripe strong. All right, get one more episode in, Joe's.
But I didn't do anything outside of what you guys did. Literally, I was at the event. So, and I did nothing on Friday or Saturday or Sunday.
Good for you.
Like I just kind of did nothing, and I was so happy about it.
Are we getting to that point where if we do nothing, it's like, wow, good for you.
It's a win.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good
I've
for
always
you.
been that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the weekend before I did something every single night, and so I was like, we need to balance
Yeah.
that out. So great, everyone had good weekends outside of the loss. Sam went to Canada. We love that. Penik, we wanted to kind of just interview you, figure out who you are, what you do, why you're here, everything. We want to know the details. So
How did Talkin Giants start?
Yeah.
yeah,
The mystery
no
of
one
all
knows.
mysteries.
all the things. So let's start with who are you, Justin Penik, and how, why are you here?
Want to know my middle name?
Yeah.
Should we try to guess? What's
Try
the
and
name of
guess. I just
That was. Oh wait, I'm not gonna say.
that was
Yeah,
that
I
was a
can't.
moment that was alluding to a piece of content that's not coming out
Yeah.
yet.
Kyle?
It's Kyle. Yeah.
It's
Does anyone call you JP?
Some people do.
Because I feel
yeah.
like that's such a good nickname.
Yeah.
that is a good nickname.
Yeah.
Kyle. Wow.
Some people have flown between. Jim called me Justin on Morning. I was listening to Morning where I've been listening to Morning because simply that's where I find things out about the company sometimes.
Yeah, same. I've come to realize
Is that
Yeah.
Jim's plan that he wants people to listen to Morning
I
so his
literally
employees
tune
have to
in
find out?
for that reason. Yeah.
No, but he called me Justin. I was like, who is that? I go by Penik. I go by Justin. Some people call me JP. One of my family members, she's very, very small. What? she's a
Like
small.
young or physically
Or
small?
like,
Both.
Okay.
Both.
okay.
And one of my mom's best friends calls me Justin Kyle. So then she starts calling me Kyle. So there's like a quarter of my family that calls me Kyle. So that I go by my middle name. So if you call me Kyle, I will turn around. Yeah, I'm from Jersey. I live and die by New Jersey. I love New Jersey so much. It's the greatest state in the world. I'm doing this thing. You see, I'm doing this thing with the desk. I've been doing it the whole time. I'm doing it the whole time. I gotta stop. I love New Jersey so much. Moved around a decent amount in my life, but it's been kind of just centralized in like 2 counties, which has been nice. So I'll just my life is my job. Like it really is, and like where I like, if you want to know who I am, it really is like this job has been my life because I'm always and I'm still in this state of I feel like I have something to prove. I feel like I have something to prove. I was a criminal justice major at St. Joe's in Philly.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and I got a little too invested in starting a Giants podcast, and I did it on my own. It was called Bleeding Blue, and then I was asked to join Talkin Giants at the start of the 2020 year, not the 2020 season. So at the end of 2019, I was in the fall semester of my senior year, and I got asked, "Do you want to join?"
By Bobby.
By Bobby.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you
And
guys get connected?
I didn't know this, but I guess he was scouting a lot of people for a long time. So we became friendly throughout the 2019 season. I was really trying to hit it hard, grind it hard with Bleeding Blue. We were doing 2 shows a week. I wanted to do more, but college was just a pain in the ass. I had a big senior thesis that I was working on for 3 years. I was very invested in criminal justice, but like I said, I just started spending a little too much time on this hobby. And I'm glad I spent a lot of time on that hobby. So Bobby asked me towards the end of the 2019 season. We became friends, not knowing that, okay, maybe you're scouting me.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought, this dude who works for Jomboy Media, and I love Jomboy Media. I'm going to keep this connection. This is a great connection to have. And then I started at the beginning of 2020.
So Bobby was already doing Talkin Giants with Jomboy Media, and then he asked you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
Interesting.
first season of Talkin Giants is with Danny King, who's still part of what we do. Danny King and Bobby Skinner, those 2 guys. And then I joined at the beginning of 2020. But why I feel like I love telling the story of why I started podcasting, doing content just in general. In 2017, I left a voicemail on Talkin Yanks, and I said, Jacoby Ellsbury is a really bad guy because it's guys like Chase Headley that have to be cut from the team because Jacoby Ellsbury won't lift his no-trade clause. And then Jim, Jomboy, he commented on my presence and tone as a caller, and I was a fan of them. And the fact that I got that compliment, it led me. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start something.
That planted a seed
my
in your
gosh.
brain.
I'm gonna.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna start something. So I have it in like my Snapchat memory somewhere. It's somewhere in my phone.
Yeah,
I have
Well,
that
find
it's got to exist on a Talkin Yanks episode.
I'm sure I
It does.
listened to it like at the time.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So then 2018, June of 2018, I roll out my first episode. It was Jake was in Colorado. Jim might have still been in California. So then that summer, because I think they were going throughout 2017, 2018. They came to Yankee Stadium that summer, and then I met them. And there's like a picture of Jake and Jimmy are on like 2 steps higher because they didn't like to appear short in pictures. And then I was like 2 steps below her. So then, we took a picture together 2018. And then I was always I don't want to ask for things. I would just ask for advice. I would ask for advice on tech, how to sound good, how to look good, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe like social media stuff, how to roll that out. But I kind of kept it at a distance because it's like, well, that's Jomboy. That's Jomboy. He's killing it. He's doing what he's got to do. And I just admired him and I looked up to him. And then lo and behold, it became 2020. I worked for free in 2020. I graduated school May of 2020, and then I figured out. It's like, all right, well, am I gonna pursue this as a full-time job, or am I gonna go into criminal justice? I worked for a year at my alma mater, St. Peter's Prep. I didn't feel like I was fully ready at that point to ask them for a full-time job. Talkin Giants was doing all right, but it wasn't at a point where it's like, all right, you deserve. I didn't think I deserved at the time a full-time salary, so I worked at St. Peter's Prep for a year in like the IEP resource room. I really loved that. I really enjoyed that. There's even parts of it where I miss it at times. I kind of like the idea of being like an educator and and helping out kids and stuff like that. I love editing essays. I love editing and producing. Again, it's like there's something about it. I just like fixing things.
Yeah.
So I worked for an entire year, and then I kind of just went. It's like, hey, I applied for a job at St. Peter's Prep, didn't get it. So then I just kind of went to Jim and Jake and be like, I'm here. I'm here. Will you hire me full time? And then since July of 2021. I have been full-time at Jomboy Media.
So how long was Talkin Giants with Jomboy Media before you joined?
So 2019.
That was the first season.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? Bobby asked to join Talkin Giants / Jomboy Media. So it used to be called the Giants Nation podcast. They were under Wegrin Sports, which is like another network. And Bobby interviewed Jimmy and Jake for a show that he was doing at the time called Simple Man Radio for like the Yankee playoff run. And this was all kind of happening before the whole Astros thing. The Astros thing kind of breaks over the offseason. Bobby asked to join, hey, can I just start a Giants podcast under your umbrella? I don't even know if it was Jomboy Media yet, but they had a Talkin Yanks. So then, hey, let's just can we just make a Talkin Giants and I'll be under your umbrella. If Bobby asks, maybe if it's a few months or if it's a few weeks, whatever, if he asks to join like a few weeks later, I don't even think they may not even do it. They may not even do it because that Astros thing kind of blew up. And then obviously, Jimmy says it's the Savages in the Box that kind of sent the company on an upward trend, but I mean, I think nationally people recognize the Astros as kind of what also put the company on an upward trend too. So maybe if Bobby asks like a couple months later, who knows if Talkin Giants is even part of Jomboy Media?
Is there still a part of you that like thinks about the criminal justice side of things? Do you find yourself trying to implement things that you learned and did then now into what you're doing?
Well, I don't regret, I will never regret, like my path. Like, maybe I should have done broadcasting, journalism, communications. I don't regret it because the way that I learned as a college student, as an undergrad, and the way that I worked, it provided me the frame at which and how I work right now. Like it was harder. It was more difficult to be a criminal justice student and also who had a giant show, who's trying to grow on social media and who's trying to grow, whatever platform I'm working on. So it became harder, but really it was just the way that I work.
Yeah.
What is helpful though is anytime anybody gets arrested. that's where
Because you understand.
that's where my education goes in. So DeAndre Baker, I don't know if anybody knows who this is. He was a first-round pick of the Giants in 2019. He gets arrested during the 2020 offseason, and that's my first year. And I'm like, I'm in this.
Got this.
We streamed his bond hearing. I don't know. we did some things. We did like literally one of our phrases is like culture of violence.
Yeah.
Is that something that maybe Jim and Jake like? I don't know. But like Bobby Skinner is a wild card, and we're kind of a wild card pair at times, me and him. So we streamed his bond hearing, and there was a phrase that I never heard of. They were saying a phrase down, and it was a Florida court. I never heard of the phrase, so I literally made like a 1.5-minute video on that phrase that was said over and over and over again during the bond hearing, and people loved it. And
What was it?
I forget. It was related to bail. It was related to pretrial stuff. So the way that we covered that, and I think that's kind of like a symbol for how we work at Talkin Giants. If there's something that's happening with the Giants, we're going to cover it, and we're going to cover it better than anybody. And I think that's kind of why it's part of the reason why we are where we are with the Giants.
Yeah, I would assume that probably studying what you studied in college, I mean, you might not use the exact curriculum, but definitely thought process and overall just strategy when it comes, because content creation is, I mean, it's like the wild, wild west. You're always learning something, and you're always having to kind of adapt, which is essentially kind of what law is as well. But Dre and I were talking about this the other day. Like, my favorite class, and really one of the only classes I actually gained something when studying journalism in college, was my journalism law class. Yeah. Like, that's the only one. So, I mean, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, and being a macro thinker too, because especially me with stats. Yeah. Thinking of things from the big picture. That I feel like being a micro macro. I definitely feel like I'm more of a big picture person. This even comes with like content stuff, like thinking of stuff like the combine that I want to do, bowling. Like I think I'm good at thinking of like, what is the story here? What are we trying to pitch here? But then the nitty gritty details, and this is where I feel totally out of my element, is the nitty gritty details of like, well, how is the execution of this actually going to happen? And that's where I get kind of stuck on stuff. But being like just an overall big macro, big picture thinker, because my criminal justice was tied in with sociology as well. It was like the same department. So I really enjoyed that. Absolutely.
What did you want to do with your degree?
Yeah.
So I interned in Washington, D.C. the fall semester of 2018. And that's where I interviewed Jim from my roommate's closet. That's where I would record the first full Giants season that I had Bleeding Blue. It was just good acoustics. It was a small space, but it smelled like feet. And but
I'm imagining you sitting in a closet with
you
like
headphones
and like a microphone.
The same, and it's also by the way, it's the same microphone that I have right now. It's the Samsung QTU microphone. It's it's like $70, $60. A very good USB microphone. It literally sounds like we're using one of these. I'm serious. But so what I was doing in DC at that internship is I worked for a correctional inspection agency. I love prisons and jails. I love them. Now they're not fantastic places, and part of the reason why I don't think they're like, oh, they're great and we should build more. There's barely any kind of supervision that goes on in how those facilities are ran, how they're conducted. It makes no sense that the Department of Corrections, let's just say, the Department of Corrections runs their facilities, but they also inspect their own facilities when things go wrong. Like it just makes no sense.
There's no like checks and balances.
Yeah.
Accountability.
Yeah.
The accountability. So there was a DC governmental agency. Not really. They were doing advocacy work, but because they're a governmental agency, they couldn't be called advocacy. So I was interning there, and I would have loved to like do that wherever or whenever, particularly like maybe like in New Jersey. So that's what I was doing in 2018, and I loved the idea of reforming and working with people who are incarcerated and residents. I call them residents. I don't like the term prisoners, but working with residents on their issues of confinement. That's something that I was really attached to at the time.
Wow, that's so interesting.
It's so fascinating because I feel like we know like you here. We know a very specific version of you, and so hearing this, it's like there's a whole nother side of you that we like literally have never even seen.
Yeah. And my latter years at college were tough because I felt like I was really dealing with two different types of people. I had this dream that I didn't even, until Bobby Skinner called me and said, this is an offer, come be part of Talkin Giants. I didn't even know like that was a reality. Like I was just doing Bleeding Blue, I was doing my own show, and we were growing well. My buddy David Powis and we were growing our own thing well, but it was going to take years if we ever got to a point where it would be monetized in some kind of way.
Right.
And we weren't even on YouTube yet. That was a time where still even I think Jim in like 2018, 2019 was like, oh, I don't want to go on YouTube. I don't want to go on YouTube. Well, look at him now. So yeah, and I was dealing with in college with these two different kind of identities and these two different masks of being this person who's spending way too much time on a hobby and way too much time online. And then also, well, this is your life, and this is actually what your profession is going to be, and what your vocation. I was using those kind of words a couple years ago. What your vocation's going to be, what you're going to give your heart and soul into. So it was tough, but I'm very glad that I took the chance on myself to be like, well, I can do this as a full-time job. I can pursue it. We worked, we grinded, and it's not over. That's also the thing too. Is I still feel like I have like a shit ton of things to prove.
So coming into a company, I mean, when you came into the company and really just when you became associated with the company in, 2017, 2018, primarily baseball. And obviously we touched on this at the beginning of the show, trying to branch into other things. So what was it like you were kind of one of the first, you and Bobby were the first non-baseball creators. So what was that like, and how has it been seeing the evolution of the company come to be?
Well, it's awesome because I recognize that without Jim and without the progression of kind of everything around us is that there is no us.
Right.
Like we're not able to do what we are able to do without how everything else has progressed. Progressed. However, though, I love competing. I love competing. Like today's we record this on a Wednesday. Tonight's my bowling night. I don't get like mad. I don't like curse. I don't yell. I'll yell at myself, but I just love competing, and I get really, really into it. So basically, and again, proving myself, when I joined, and Bobby and I, we kind of take this same mentality of there's always something to prove.
Yeah.
Where I want to catch Talkin Yanks.
Yeah.
Talking baseball, we're not catching. I want to catch Talkin Yanks. I want to be recognized. Whether it's by Jim himself, by Jomboy himself, or it's our audience. I want to be recognized as we're right up there. I don't want this to be just Jomboy's company and then everybody else that's kind of underneath. So that's been our mentality for years. Is that we want to catch Talkin Yanks. We want to be up there. And still like I think it was a couple months ago where it's like I want to catch Talkin Yanks in the five star ratings on the Apple Podcast app. And Jim's like, I don't even think that matters anymore. But it's like I don't care. I want to catch Talkin Yanks in it.
Small victories.
Small victories.
Yeah,
So that's really what it's been like, just from a standpoint of camaraderie, where we're obviously together, and it's not out of any kind of like animosity, but I do want Talkin Giants and our football coverage to be just as known as our baseball coverage here. Like that's the goal, and that's kind of like what we strive for.
Did it ever make you uneasy, like not covering baseball? Because I'm sure, at least for me, I can speak from personal experience. Whenever I came last year, which is crazy that it's almost been a year for you and I, which is insane, but that was one of the biggest things. It was almost kind of like an identity crisis of like, I know I can talk about baseball, but I was hired to do these other things, and those other things hadn't been done by anyone else in the company. And so it was kind of this like back and forth of like, okay, well, like, should I even be here? Like, it's this crisis, and then this, no, they want me to be here. So it's this like push and pull. Yeah. And I'm sure that you probably dealt with something similar to that.
Well, I think I'm feeling that right now more than anything. Because right now, and I would love to even just get to this, like talking shop. Right now, I've told Dan, the tech man, this, and I've told Jim this at times. It's like, I kind of don't know what I'm doing. Especially with now, like where we're trending as a company, it's not just analyzing sports.
Right.
With JM Entertainment, the Warehouse Games, which I think Pax, like you and I, feel a little bit more tied to JM Entertainment. The Warehouse Games is its own animal. It's breathing right now. It's operating with a very strong pulse. But we're putting together productions. I have the years and years of experience since 2018 of talking about sports and creating content on social media, knowing how to grow my own social channels, knowing how to grow my own YouTube channel, our long-form podcast platform, knowing how to grow that. And now, we're at a point where, we're being tasked with creating productions.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it feels like. It's not filmmaking, but we are tasked with, well, how are we going to put on these series, these 3-episode, 5-episode series. So that's where it's like, and again, I've told Dan and Jim this, I do not know what I'm doing, but I really am looking forward to embracing that kind of opportunity of how to create that, whether it is the combine, whether it is some of the bowling stuff that I do. I'm really looking forward to attacking that because it is new, and it's also, we can intersect that with things that we absolutely love.
Yeah. I think what's really cool is you guys being in other stuff. Like, there was so many comments on the egg drop video of people just being like, Penik is a star.
Yeah.
And like,
yes,
the
him
way
on
that
blind taste test, people love him.
And like the way that people react to you, like as a sideline reporter, people are like love that. Like, I think what's cool about getting out of like just the sports and like analyzing sports, like you were saying, is seeing how much everyone just loves you guys as people.
Yeah.
And that you can just like try other things and people respond well to it because you guys are building communities of people that just like you as people outside of like the analyzing sports thing. Yeah. So that's been fun just to watch. Like, I read all the comments on YouTube on Jam Entertainment, and like the way that everyone talks about everybody, it's just so funny and cool, and they feel like they know you guys, which they should.
I was telling someone this the other day. This is the first place that I have ever been where about 99.9% of the comments on any video that I'm either make a pop-up in or I host, whatever, are all positive. And that has been, at least for me, the biggest struggle of like trying to essentially rewire my brain to actually realize that like we are supported here and we are allowed to actually try things. And even if they do fail, that's okay. Like, try something else. Because anywhere else in the past that I've been, it's been, try. But if you fail, then you're like not going to be able to try again for like a while because you failed. But that's hard. It is hard to essentially rewire your brain to be okay with this great idea not being great.
Right.
And then trying something else. It's just like that mentality of like a goldfish of just like, well, let's see what happens. You have the support, you have the foundation. Why not?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
But I think like seeing people's positive reaction to you guys should give you like encouragement to be like, oh, I can try something.
Yeah.
I can try something out of the ordinary and like things I don't normally post or do because people are responding so well to anything that you guys are in.
And I think Dan, when we're talking about these kind of new projects or new things that we want to start, Dan and Mike were like, well, what's the story? And I think just starting there, I know Jim also said, well, what's the title? And then what's the thumbnail? And kind of starting at that point too. But even like, what's the story that you want to tell? So BTS, we just got off a meeting with like NASCAR. And one of the things that I'm pitching to them and what was super helpful with even just trying to comprehend, NASCAR is a sport that I loved growing up. I loved NASCAR and I adored Dale Jr. more growing up than I did like the Giants and Eli Manning. So it's like very, very cool. So how am I going to talk with the sport and with the people that run the sport that I love so much? And how am I even going to comprehend putting my whatever ideas I have in a vacuum? And it's, well, what story are we going to tell? And like the story that I'm pitching there is like NASCAR isn't just a sport where you get in a car and you turn left and you press the gas. Like there's so much more that goes into it. And it's the same thing with the combine. It's not just running a 40-yard dash. Like, look at how tough it is for, what these world-class athletes do all the time. Look at the times that they run in the 40 here. Well, then look at my 40 time, and I'm just an average Joe. Or even like look at like Nikki Cass, who we hope is going to be there. Look at Nikki Cass run the 40-yard dash. Well, Nikki Cass is the most athletic out of everybody, but he still is X amount of seconds, X amount of time slower than the average NFL athlete that may even just weigh a little bit more than him. Bowling. The storytelling behind the bowling series that I want to do is, look at how complicated this is. Like I want to bowl a perfect game and I want to do it on camera. I want to do it on camera so bad. I've never bowled a perfect game. I average like in the 190s, and I've been bowling since high school. I've never bowled a perfect game before and I want to do it on camera. So look at how tough it is to bowl a perfect game. to get 12 strikes in a row. So that's the kind of stuff like in my brain right now with, just telling a story in these videos. That's where I'm kind of coming from. Like, so look at how complicated this shit is, but it's awesome. Trying to work towards it.
Can we talk about your bowling league?
Let's talk about my bowling
Yeah.
league. Yes.
Tell us about it.
My IRL bowling league or like my
In real life.
my IRL bowling league. So it's 4 people.
Okay.
It's a 36-week league.
Oh my
so
gosh.
it's a long time. It's a long time. If you do a fall/winter league, you're in it for the long haul, and you're also in it for the spring as well. So it's a 4-person team. It's Deanna, who's my friend, Anthony. We call him Noodles. Noodles is also our Talkin Giants iRacing driver.
I love that.
Oh.
So we just started in like a Talkin Giants iRacing team. We stream on Facebook and YouTube.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So we're on the bowling team together, and then it's also my buddy Michael, Michael Boker. So it's the 4 of us every Wednesday night. So the challenge with this league is the 4 of us, we're pretty good bowlers.
Yeah.
We're pretty good bowlers. I have like a 190 average. My buddy Michael has like a 192, and then Deanna has a 207.
Go off,
So
queen.
she's captain 1. Michael's captain 2. I'm captain 3. Noodles is captain 4, and we all have certain roles. Michael's role as captain 2 is that he has very good penmanship, so he has to write down the scores. Captain 3, I have to go to the snack bar and I have to get people drinks and stuff like. Oh, does anybody want anything? Or I'll get tater tots so everybody can share. Noodles captain 4, just show up, and then Deanna captain 1 is show up and be good.
Got it.
Noodles' expectation is that he doesn't have to be good; he just has to show up.
Yeah.
Captain 1 has to just show up and be good, and Deanna is very good every single week. But so the challenge in that league is that we're pretty good. Everybody else is not good. So in bowling, you get handicap.
Yeah.
The baseline is 220. If you have a 221 average, you're giving the other team 1 pin. If you have a 190 average, you are getting 30 pins to your handicap. So there's a lot of bowlers in this winter league. It's not a very big league, but we just wanted to bowl. We just wanted to do it. Where we're giving away a lot of pins. So every fucking week, it is just a climb. It's a climb. It's a climb. It's a climb. And it's very, very frustrating that we can all be bowling like 200s and we're still down by like 20 pins.
Got it. That's so annoying.
It's very annoying. Very annoying. But I love it so much. I yell. I give the pins middle fingers. Like if I'm having a bad stretch, or if I'm throwing the ball, there's nothing more fucking frustrating. Where if you're throwing the ball well, you're putting it exactly where you want it, you're getting good marks, you're whatever, and then you're like leaving 10 pins, you're leaving pins on the rack, you're not getting the ball reaction. So sometimes when I just get that strike and it's a good ball, and I finally get the result that I want, I'll just throw up a middle finger and I'll walk away. I mean, I get heated, but it's with myself. It's not like with anybody else. It's just I get heated like with myself. So I love it. I love competing.
Do you guys have matching outfits?
I was just about to ask that.
That actually is something that we should plan out.
Because I know a lot of bowling leagues, they get
The
the
bowling
button-up
shirts are
shirts.
cool.
They're
Yes.
so cool.
really cool.
Yes.
We should make a Jomboy Media bowling
Well,
shirt.
no. So what we are going to
Fun.
do, like the whole thing was, Jim was very. We were actually talking about this during the holiday party.
Oh yeah.
Jim was just very.
He did ask me a question about bowling at the holiday party.
Yeah. For whatever reason, that night he was just particularly very invested in my idea. I'm there trying to talk to whoever. And he's like,
Trying
"Come
to
here,
party. Hey, bowling.
Come here. Let's content.
Let's
like,
flush out bowling.
a one pin challenge," and he's like, "Oh yeah, it'd be you and We Got Ice and Jack and Zoe. You have to beat both of their scores combined, or there's like a single pin challenge where it's annoying for whoever's behind their place in the pin, but we leave up a 4 pin and you got to get the 4 pin, or if you leave up a 5 pin, you got to get the 5 pin. That's the only pin that's on the rack. Whoever has the most pins at the end of the game wins and shit like that. So, but when we do that, like whenever we do, or it'll be kind of after the combine. The next thing that I want to attack is kind of like our Jomboy Media Bowling League and our Jomboy Media Bowling content. We will be having matching jerseys and matching stuff. 100%.
Do you have your own ball and shoes?
Oh my gosh,
I do.
someone in the chat just asked, do you have your own ball and shoes?
I do. Yes.
Do you have a
multiple?
bag?
I have 2 bowling balls. I have 2 more bowling balls that's in a storage unit. So I have a total of 4. And I have my own shoes. My own shoes, they are from the year 2015. I need new bowling shoes. They're like coming apart, but I love them so
What
much.
color are they?
Yeah.
They're white and black. Very simple. Very simple. But I glide.
I have
in
my
them.
own bowling ball.
You do?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I love that.
I think like my like 10th birthday or something, I just like, you know, when you're a kid, you go to a lot of bowling like birthday parties.
Lots
it's like a
of
thing,
birthday parties.
especially in
It was
this
a thing.
area.
Mm-hmm.
Winter, kids with birthdays in the winter, a lot of bowling parties. I don't know. I got like, we were just going a lot. And I just one year really wanted a bowling ball.
you still have it?
I think my parents got rid of it. Like my mom moved. I think she got rid of it. Had my name on it. It was like purple and green swirled. Yeah.
I love it.
Had that thing for a while.
Are bowling
Never would've
balls
guessed.
expensive?
I think it was like $100. It was like a kid's one.
Okay.
They're more expensive than anything because also the thing is you got to get it drilled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like $60 within itself.
Oh.
Interesting.
Because like you get the ball, like
It doesn't
they
come
make
with
the
the
ball
holes?
for you because he has to fit your fingers.
Yeah, you got to fit the fingers in the holes.
So like they make the ball for you. Like I wanted like the purple and green swirl or whatever, and they put my name on it. But then they fit your fingers, and then you have to.
Yep.
You just unlocked a memory that I forgot I had a bowling ball.
I'm imagining you opening a birthday gift of a bowling ball
Like, I remember-
as a small child.
Were
I
you
remember
excited?
going to pick it out. Like
It's,
I remember like
very
that was
joyous.
I like got it for Christmas or my birthday one year. Like I remember going to the bowling alley and like picking it out because they have some of them have
Right.
like the thing inside where you can
Yeah.
get it. Yeah. Like I gotta ask my mom when this was and where my bowling ball is. Now I want it.
I hope there's a picture of you as a small child with a bowling ball.
I feel like there has to be somewhere.
Grinning ear to ear.
My mom took pictures of
must be, I'm
everything.
sure.
Would
I'll
that
figure it
not
out.
be a great way to interview somebody too?
Bowling.
Just, mic somebody up, go bowling.
1,000%.
It's kind of fun, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one more personal question for you, and then we're going to move on to our draft.
Yes.
Last personal question, unless they have something. Why Shania Twain?
Shania Twain is the best person on planet Earth.
Which, for those who don't know, Justin Penik is without a doubt the biggest Shania Twain fan.
She's my
Ever.
favorite person.
Like human being.
Just a human being. She's my
How
favorite human being. She has been through a lot of shit. And also just before the adversity that she's faced in her life, she's an awesome artist. Like the first, and I think only, female country artist to like have triple platinum, diamond, whatever you want to call it, albums that are all back to back to back. She has the 9th best-selling album of all time. Did you know that?
That's crazy. I learned that from you recently.
Come
That's
on over.
crazy.
Come on
Really?
over. The Man I Feel Like a Woman,
Yeah.
Still the One, From This Moment On, all those songs. The 9th best-selling album of all time. She might be the only female in the top 10. That's not like an artist, band, group, whatever. So I think she's the only solo female artist in the top 10 of all time. She really hit at the right time. I think the late 90s, early 2000s, that was the last push for CDs. And also, music videos are still obviously a big thing too, but her music videos were also just truly, truly iconic too. She did The Woman in Me was from Egypt, and you can see the pyramids, and she's a beautiful woman too. I mean, she's just a beautiful woman inside and out. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman. But the adversity that she went through, she grew up in poverty, up in Canada, Ontario.
Okay.
Ontario, you're
I
familiar
love
with
that
Canada?
he turned to
Yeah.
Canada.
Sam, our resident
I know
Canadian.
where Ontario is.
Canada.
So Ontario, Canada, she grew up in poverty. Her father was abusive. I think a little bit abusive towards her, but definitely to her mother. So she witnessed domestic abuse. Shania would perform at bars as a teenager. Like that was the only kind of venue that she can go perform at. So her mother would put her on stage late night at bars. And that's how she kind of started singing. Her parents died in a car crash while she was still a teenager. So she had to go to kind of like, it was like the Las Vegas of Canada. I forget where. But the Las Vegas of Canada, where it was kind of like a little bit of a residency, and she like performed. She was part of like a show performance. She wasn't headlining, but she was part of a show performance. So that's how she kind of cared for her family towards her latter teenager years in her early 20s. So that eventually she goes to Nashville. She has all these years of songs and songwriting. Her first self-titled album, the label barely even lets her use her own songs. So then she's like, all right, this ain't for me. She meets this guy, Mutt Lange, who's like this well-known producer, produced like Back in Black, Hysteria, Def Leppard, AC/DC, all these very, very popular rock bands. She partners with Mutt Lange, and they kill it.
The rest is history.
Come on over, The Woman in Me album, Come On Over, and then Up. Eventually, after all this musical success, Mutt Lange cheats on Shania Twain. How the fuck?
Oh, they get together. Okay.
How the fuck would you ever cheat on Shania Twain? So they do get married. The producer and Shania Twain, they do get married. Mutt Lange.
Risky.
Mutt Lange cheats on Shania Twain with Shania Twain's best friend.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
And it was a bad divorce. She got like Lyme's disease all in the middle of this. She like lost her voice. And
I don't know anyone that knows anything about someone as much as you know about Shania.
Yeah.
I've read her autobiography twice.
I was about to
Wasn't
say,
there
I
this
feel like
documentary that came out.
There was a Netflix documentary that
okay.
just came out recently, and
I'll watch that.
this is kind of told a little bit in there. But from this moment on, her autobiography is brilliant, just brilliant. This is how I learned every detail of her life. So she really was going through the ringer when her husband cheated on her with her best friend, as one should and as one could. So she eventually meets and then marries her ex-best friend's ex-husband, and now they are the happiest couple ever. And Shania Twain, since then, has made a comeback, residencies at Las Vegas. She's made another album.
Is Shania Twain her real name?
No, her Eileen Twain is her real name. And
but Twain's her last name.
Eileen, I think it translates to like coming up or on the way up or something like that. So
Eileen
absolutely
Regina
fascinating.
Shania Twain.
mm-hmm. There you go.
Shania is such a pretty name.
Yeah.
And now she's back.
Do you love
She's
all
so
country
back.
music or just her mostly?
I'm a fan of 90s country, early 2000s country for
Okay.
sure. But Shania takes the cake. I would just listen to. My mom had like a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was a gold Jeep Grand Cherokee in the early 2000s, and we had Come On Over just blasting
Obviously.
That's
blasting
like-
in the car.
Yeah, that unlocks some
That's
like
awesome.
childhood memories
Yeah.
too for me. I will say Shania Twain songs. I mean, there's a handful of artists, but if you play any of those songs after midnight at literally any bar,
Yeah.
anywhere,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you are getting a crowd of very drunk people all singing the
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
together.
And I just love how empowering it is too.
Mm-hmm.
Like her-
I had multiple Shania Twain songs on my most listened playlist on
I love
Spotify.
it. Oh,
She's great.
I love
She's
it.
an iconic. All right, time to do the draft. You guys ready to do a draft? We're going to draft best sports traditions. Now, this could be college, this could be pro, this could be any sport, wherever your heart takes you. We are going to do a snake draft. So, Penik, since you are the guest,
How many rounds are we doing?
We're going to do 5.
Okay.
I don't know if I have enough.
Yeah. Maybe.
We'll try 3.
Okay.
And then we'll see.
And then we'll
And
do
then maybe
honorable
three- and
mentions.
then we'll do honorable.
3 and some HMs. Yeah.
Yeah. Penik, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Taylor, and then Sam will snake
Okay.
this way. Okay? So, first overall pick, your go.
Tailgating
Nice.
Okay.
In general.
in
so
general.
you went that route. Okay.
Yeah. I this is a power ranking of not just necessarily like what is the best sport tradition, but I like what I love
Okay.
because
Yeah,
I'm an
that's-
egotistical
So you
selfish
went
person.
you went general, not like team specific stuff.
Yeah, there's some like specific things and sports specific things, but tailgating like is my favorite thing because
Okay.
as a Giants fan, the team has sucked over the last few years. So I'm not going to say going into the game is fun, but beforehand is very fun because you have no choice but to think about, all right, I'm here. I can't go anywhere. I'm going to think about the game. I'm going to think that we're going to win, and I'm going to eat food and drink whatever, do whatever, and that's it. Number 1, tailgating.
I have been a Tennessee Vol fan my entire life, so
Mm-hmm.
I know that feeling very well.
I can't control what happens in there, and I can't control what I got going on here.
You really got to find joy in small
That's
small
right.
things. It's a good one. It's a good one. Taylor?
I'm gonna go with my new favorite
Ooh.
tradition, which is the trumpets at Citi Field.
Yo, that's such a
Good.
good one.
That's a
And
good
we
one.
have
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz for the next 5 years, so it's like just the
That'd be
start.
amazing. That's really great.
So that's gonna be my first one.
Can I say it really pissed me off? And granted, it's probably because it was Alabama that did it. There's nothing that made me more mad than when Alabama football is like, let's play the song. Let's act like it's our... I'm not even a Mets fan, and I'm like,
I was like, I just
Stay
feel
in your
like,
lane.
Yeah, do something
Yeah.
else.
stay in your lane, man.
Edwin Diaz, and Timmy Trumpet, they loved it.
Yeah.
But
Not everyone else.
That's a good one. My first one, obviously something Tennessee related. I mean, basically everything at the University of Tennessee, but the Vol Navy, which, do you guys know what that is?
I saw in my research.
Same.
So it's basically, for those who don't know, it's basically Neyland Stadium is on the river. And basically people pull up their boats and all latch on together right next to the stadium on the river. They stay overnight, they party, and it's like tailgating, but instead of going tent to tent, you go boat to boat.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so fun.
Very cool.
One of the coolest memories ever is I did a worksheet there and on Vol Navy, first time I'd ever been, and it was in 2017. and I got to interview Brett Favre and do like football toss like in someone's like trash can on like one boat from like another boat. It's like the greatest thing.
Oh my
ever.
God, we gotta find that clip.
Awesome.
Got it. It's on my phone. Saved forever. That's my first pick.
Uncle John said Rocky Top is the best college fight song there is. He said, I hate how good it is.
That means so much to me. Thank you.
Can anyone see me just spit my water over my
I'm going to zoom in on
I
that
don't know
point.
why I did that. I wish I didn't. Anyway, my first pick, which is, I mean, obviously the best tradition ever, is the roll call at Yankee Stadium. Like, I will not allow any slander against that or anyone arguing that's not the best thing
She
ever.
will literally
because it
leave
is.
the show.
I thought you were going to say, and I will not elaborate. No. And I was like, okay.
Okie dokie.
No, it's just truly the coolest thing ever. Like, if you really think about it, the fans yelling enough that players acknowledge you every single home game, and it's something they know about and look forward to and have a distinct response is the craziest thing.
It is cool. I put it on my list. Kyle reminded me of it, and I was like, Sam's definitely going to pick that.
Yeah.
But I'll write it down.
Yeah.
It's simply the coolest thing ever. And then I go again,
Yep.
right? My number 2 will be throwing your hat for a hat trick.
That's
just
good.
really cool.
That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna stay with college football. Texas A&M midnight yell, which is quite possibly one of the creepiest and weirdest things I've ever been a part of. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna be completely honest. So do you know what it is?
No.
Oh, we need to get you down there. We need to have you experience this.
Yeah.
So basically, the night before every single home game, and I think they do it away games too, and they just find a different location. But the night before every single Texas A&M home football game, everyone, like students, faculty, family, alumni, neighbors, everyone goes to the football stadium at midnight to practice their chants. So they have those yell leaders, which apparently is like a yell leader is more popular than the quarterback of the football team at an SEC school. Like, these like yell leaders are apparently the coolest people on campus. And so they're on the field, like demonstrating their like calls, like yee, woo, ah, like all the things. Then there's like weird rituals where they'll like turn the lights off. And if you don't have someone to kiss, you're supposed to shine your phone light.
Oh.
And then you're supposed to find another phone light to kiss. And then randomly they'll shoot off a freaking cannon. Yo, I'm telling you, I was like down on the field watching this at midnight, and I was like, what's going on? Like, people get into it. Now,
So it's your
granted,
second pick of best sports tradition.
yeah, I mean, because there was someone, like, there were alumni on the field that were like 75 years old doing it, and then there's like an 18-year-old like drunk off of cheap vodka in the stands, not going out to a bar, but going to the football stadium to practice a chant.
That's community right there.
Like,
Yeah.
that's insane.
It's community in action.
You should look it up. It's quite insane.
That's how we're going to heal society.
Yeah,
just get
Texas
it- get-
A&M's yell leaders.
Get everybody in a stadium and just yell
Yeah.
and kiss.
There's some.
Yell and kiss.
Yeah, I had like lights coming towards me. I'm like, what's going on? So that's my number 2.
Fantastic.
I think my number 2, which I just discovered this year, is at every Avalanche home game, they all sing All the Small Things by Blink-182.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm just a fan of the whole stadium singing anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
when you see those clips in like the rain and like everyone is like singing something, like there was a Mr. Brightside one that came out a couple of years ago. Like, I'm just a fan of the whole stadium singing.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, and the fact that they do it every game, I think is so fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a good one. It's a great one.
All right, my number 2.
Your number 2 and 3.
My number 2 and 3. I kind of have this as a pairing, but Bruce Buffer and Michael Buffer saying, let's get ready to rumble, and then it's time. Before anything boxing and then UFC.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
That's good.
I aspire to be like Bruce Buffer. Like, if Shania Twain's my favorite person in the entire world, Bruce Buffer's in the top 3 favorite people in the entire world. Sam, I think you're number 2.
Take that. All right.
Number 3, drivers start your engines.
Oh yeah,
NASCAR.
yeah,
That's good.
that's
There's-
a really good one.
Oh, the right leg starts to get like I feel like I'm about to get out there and drive and do something, but the right leg starts going, especially if somebody gives a good driver start your engines and you add some oomph to it. And that's awesome. So that's my number 3.
That's cool.
That's a good one.
I like that. My number 3 is, I guess, like more personal. When I was doing research, I learned this originally started with A&M, which I don't subscribe to because I only know it being a Seahawks thing, is that they have a 12 flag.
Oh, yeah.
And all the fans go by like the 12th man.
So awesome.
And they like have either like a former Seahawk or someone famous raise the 12 flag before every game. And their like whole pregame thing is wild. They have a real hawk that flies out. Like its name's Tama, like it's someone's hawk. And then like their song, their like running out song. I don't know if everyone knows what it is. I don't know what it's called. It's like dun 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 dun. That song. They run out to that song. It's like the most epic shit I've ever seen in person. It's so cool. So their whole like pregame routine with like raising the flag, the hawk, the song, like the whole thing. Love it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mine are these two things are kind of the same. Nashville Predators throwing a catfish and Detroit Red Wings throwing an octopus.
I did have that on my board as well.
The catfish, that is a newer thing. I think it started in 2018 whenever they made it to the Stanley Cup in Nashville. I don't know when the Red Wings thing happened, but the interesting thing about the catfish and the octopus is that you can't just like openly like walk in to the like they're hiding.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like they're taping like an octopus to
I saw
their
that recently and
body.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like a small one. Like
It
they're
was a big ass one.
so just imagine
So
like
weird.
duct taping an octopus to your body.
Can't really imagine that.
because of the music.
What a line to walk in on. Jimmy walks in. Is it Jimmy?
Yeah.
Right as Paxton says, imagine
Yes.
taping an octopus to your body.
Yeah. Sam has started to play music in the office on Wednesdays, and it's really lifted the energy of the office. Like was it last week or 2 weeks ago that it was like
Love
the women,
balance.
the women's of
back on.
the
That will
90s
lift up
women,
spirits real
Celine
quick.
Dion, Shania Twain. I was in fucking heaven.
The ABBA radio this morning, everyone was singing every single
That's
song.
a
Yes.
good one. It's
It was incredible.
I'm putting Mikey's band back on.
Mikey's band also, when I walked in, I was like, this is
But
Mikey's
now it's just playing on my
this is
phone.
Mikey's band? And everyone was like, I don't know. I'm like, it is. Specialists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's cool.
so groovy.
Good vibes.
I think are they
They're
clapping
clapping
because the
for you.
music's back on?
No, not yet.
Oh.
I think
They're cheering you on.
I'm trying, guys.
All right. Who has the next pick? Sam?
Sam does.
It is me.
Oh,
And
tough.
my last one will be this may be once removed from like a sports tradition. I don't want to forget the device. From a sports tradition, but Olympians getting the Olympic rings tattooed.
Oh
after
yeah.
they go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because I'm so incredibly obsessed with the Olympics. And I actually, I think it was maybe yesterday, saw randomly just like on my Instagram a video of some Olympic swimmer, and I didn't know who she was, I didn't know she was Olympian, got out of the pool and like on her thigh right here had the rings. I'm like, that was stunning.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of like
so
an
cool.
It's just
inside
such
baseball
a cool,
thing.
like, I think this maybe worked, badge of honor.
Yeah.
That it's just so cool.
I think that's definitely a tradition. I mean, I think it's like a tradition, rite of passage type of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't go to the Olympics and you get rings, you're like, who are you?
I'd get that shit out of my forehead.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, I went to the Olympics.
Right?
Like,
So, it's
holy
so cool,
moly. Like,
right?
I'd be telling everyone. Yeah. It's the coolest thing ever.
That's a good one.
That is a really
Thanks.
good one.
It's a good one.
Thanks.
You have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, playoff beards in hockey. I'm also very into all the whole stadium singing. I remember I went to University of Wisconsin Badgers game.
They do
So I wasn't thinking of jump around. What stuck in my head was they do the fifth quarter and they all sing "Build Me Up, Buttercup,"
Yeah, that one's good too.
which was really cool. And then kind of off of that, the other one I had on my list was "Sweet Caroline."
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Totally.
Yeah, my honorable mentions, Duke fans camping out. I think that's a great one. Iowa football waving to the Children's Hospital every
I
game.
love that.
And
That's a great one.
yeah, I love that one. And then University of Tennessee does checkered kneeling, and then Penn State does the white out.
Yeah.
So I love when you
Yeah.
like. I was a part of the first checkered kneeling, and I was like, "There's no way 100,000 people are going to do this right." And like just seeing that in person, we got our asses kicked the first time, but seeing that in person, it's just like, okay,
It's so cool.
this is why I like love sports.
Yeah. My honorable mentions were, I do love Bills fans jumping on tables.
So it's just
So
something
crazy.
poetic about it.
It's just so Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so upstate New York. And I can say that as a New Yorker, not from the city.
They'll set
It
the
is-
table on fire.
Yeah, like, they're just wild. I love it. And then One Shining Moment.
I don't know what that is.
Like, they play it for the March Madness. It's like all the highlights from the season.
Gives me chills.
Like, it's like a whole montage, and they play it to the song One Shining Moment.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I gotta get more in it with the college traditions. I really do.
They're top notch. Do you have any HMs?
I have see this is, I feel like in comparison, my honorable mentions are really bad. But fantasy football draft day.
Oh, yeah, but that's for you.
That's yours.
Like,
That's
this
a you
is
thing.
my list, but I feel like I need to get out there because I am not a big college sports junkie because just from a content perspective, I'm watching all the college games anyway for draft prep.
Yeah.
But that's just binging. It's not experiencing the game.
Yeah.
I'm just watching a player. I'm watching a prospect. I need to experience it from the lens of, well, this is how awesome
Enjoying
college
the
sports
game.
Go
are.
down to an SEC game.
So we'll do. I actually went to the Iron Bowl this year.
Really?
I did. I had a great time. I mean, it didn't really mean much. Auburn was bad, and Alabama was already out of the running for the SEC and out of the running for the playoff. But still, it was just an awesome time. So we do have to experience an SEC game together. Fantasy football draft day. I also have a surprise. Nobody said opening day of baseball is pretty cool. 100% pretty cool.
Yeah. You just get, like, you wake up and there's just, like, the jitters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
It's back.
Yeah. You can, like, feel it in your fingertips. It's, like,
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I'm not I don't consider myself like, I'm gonna be an avid baseball watcher from game 1 to 162, but opening day of baseball is pretty cool because it's
that's
just
a great one.
it's just one of those things. At least me as like the average baseball fan it's one of those things of, I could watch it one night, I could not watch it the other night, but I just know that it's always happening and it's always there.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a year marker.
Yes.
Like, you know where you're at in the year
Yes.
when it's opening day.
Yep.
You know, it's just like, oh, shit, it's already opening day. Or, like,
Yep, weather's gonna
Yeah.
get warmer and
Yeah.
shit like that.
1,000%. Yeah. And I just like when baseball's back because I know I can always have sports on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like this stretch of when I'm like, I can only have a game on at night and like maybe not every night and all the, I don't like it. I like knowing I can have a game on at any point all the time.
Yep,
I love it.
agreed.
Love it. Well, great draft, guys.
Yeah.
Great draft.
great episode.
Great
Yes.
episode.
It was
Thank you.
So informational and educational and enlightening.
Honestly.
So much about bowling, so much about Shania. Like,
And
we learned so
law.
much. Law. We covered so many topics.
Yeah.
I
So
feel
many.
like I
Penik,
talk too
you're
much.
amazing.
This is why I want to
No.
produce the
That-
show.
that-
This is
No,
why we brought
this
you
is
on.
a good thing.
This is
That was
why
the
I
point.
want to produce the show. And I don't even want to have a camera. I don't want to have a camera, and I want to hear the three of you
No, we
every
wanted you
week.
to talk the whole time.
Yeah, people want to know you.
Yes.
We didn't know so many of these things about you.
At the first Talkin Giants event, everyone's like, "Oh, like, so how Talkin Giants happen? Who was first when they come on?" And I was like, "I don't know." And it was fascinating to learn.
Yeah,
I
and
never
that's-
would have guessed
and
any
that's-
point of that story. I would not have known.
And that's part of what we take a lot of pride in too. I didn't mention this, but we take a lot of pride in kind of, hey, when we need something from the company, we're gonna ask, but we try and be self-sufficient. That's definitely what we try to do. So again, being on here was very cool. So thank you to the three of you, and then also these last 2 weeks where it's been like between Talkin Giants and Jomboy Media kind of all getting together. It's been the most camaraderie that I've felt and the closest that I felt with the company doing these live events the last 2 weeks. So thank you, and thank you to watch.
fun.
Thank you for watching.
Subscribe to Talkin Giants.
Yes. Subscribe to Talkin Giants. And also, this episode is going to be going up on the podcast app. It's going to be the first one that goes up.
Oh,
Big stuff.
huge.
Big stuff.
Unless I fail miserably and can't figure it out. But I am aiming to.
We have faith in her.
We have faith. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.